In the early hours of November 13, 1970, a catastrophic natural disaster struck the densely populated delta region of the Bay of Bengal, forever altering the course of history for the region now known as Bangladesh. This disaster was the 1970 Bhola cyclone, the deadliest tropical cyclone ever recorded and one of the most devastating natural disasters of the 20th century. Originating over the central Bay of Bengal on November 8, the cyclone initially appeared to pose only a moderate threat. However, it rapidly intensified, reaching its peak with winds of up to 185 km per hour, 115 miles per hour, just before making landfall on the evening of November 12. By then, it was a powerful Category 3 storm. Due to the geography of the area, a storm surge of up to 10 meters, 33 feet, accompanied the cyclone, sweeping over the islands and tidal flats along the coast of East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, and West Bengal, India. The impact was catastrophic. The surge overwhelmed the islands and the low-lying coastal areas, wiping out entire villages. Houses, roads, and infrastructure were destroyed, leaving millions homeless and without shelter against the elements. The death toll was staggering, with official estimates ranging between 300,000 and 500,000 people, though the exact number remains uncertain. The immense loss of life was due not only to the initial impact of the storm and flooding but also to the outbreak of diseases and the slow response to the disaster. The region most severely affected was the densely populated and impoverished area of Kazamuddin in East Pakistan. Here, entire communities were obliterated, and the landscape was left unrecognizable. The aftermath was bleak, with survivors facing a dire lack of food, clean water, and medical supplies. The response from the then government of Pakistan was criticized as inadequate and slow, exacerbating the suffering of the victims and fueling political tensions. The inadequate handling of the disaster response by the Pakistani government also became a significant catalyst for the subsequent secessionist movement in East Pakistan. Just a few months later, in March 1971, full-scale civil war erupted, leading to the independence of Bangladesh in December 1971. The cyclone and the government's response thus had profound political as well as humanitarian consequences. The 1970 Bhola cyclone not only highlighted the vulnerability of the region to such natural disasters but also underscored the need for better disaster preparedness and early warning systems. In the years following the disaster, significant improvements were made in cyclone tracking and alert systems in the Bay of Bengal region. Today, the Bhola cyclone remains a painful memory etched in the collective consciousness of Bangladesh. It serves as a grim reminder of the power of nature and the importance of disaster preparedness, particularly in vulnerable regions. Memorials and the stories of survivors continue to commemorate the tragedy, ensuring that the lessons learned from the 1970 cyclone continue to inform disaster response strategies worldwide.
Incredibly high death toll. The Bhola cyclone is the deadliest tropical cyclone on record, with estimated deaths ranging between 300,000 to 500,000. The sheer scale of the loss of life is staggering and unusual for any natural disaster. Lack of early warning. Despite the cyclone's immense power, there was a significant lack of effective early warning systems and disaster preparedness. This lack of preparedness contributed massively to the high death toll. Catalyst for political change. It's relatively rare for a natural disaster to have such a direct and profound impact on a region's political landscape. The perceived inadequacy of the response by the Pakistani government to the cyclone's devastation significantly fueled the movements for independence in East Pakistan, leading to the creation of Bangladesh. Sudden intensification. The cyclone intensified rapidly just before making landfall, which is not unusual for tropical cyclones but always presents a particularly difficult challenge for disaster management and response. Geographical vulnerability. The geography of the area affected, low-lying islands and delta regions, made it particularly susceptible to storm surges, which were as high as 33 feet, exacerbating the disaster's impact.